The behind-the-scenes secret of Yellowstone never makes it out to its fans, except when it is about ugly feuds and bizarre lawsuits. This is why we have rounded up every bit of juicy gossip from the set of Yellowstone's Season 5. Let's get started. Some Yellowstone stars are secretly gearing up for Season 6. The first part of the 5th season of Yellowstone left us in shambles. From the fate of the series to the Kevin Costner drama, everything seemed muddled and cloudy. However, thanks to a bunch of leaks and BTS stories, we are getting some closure on what ought to be of the beloved show. We finally have some clarity on the future of Yellowstone. Though, as fans of the show might expect, the story behind the scenes remains anything but simple. Paramount confirmed last year that Yellowstone would wrap up after the second half of Season 5, with these final episodes set to premiere on November 10th, 2024. But for fans not quite ready to leave the world of the Duttons, there's a glimmer of hope. Reportedly, Yellowstone stars Kelly Riley and Cole Hauser, known for their powerful portrayals of Beth and Rip, are in talks to return for a possible 6th season. If these negotiations pan out, the duo may take on central roles in place of Kevin Costner, who exited before Season 5B's filming began. This update comes after months of speculation suggesting that Riley, Hauser, and fellow cast member Luke Grimes might join the upcoming spin-off, The Madison. However, recent casting news around The Madison implied it would take place away from the Dutton Ranch, leading some to wonder if Riley and Hauser would stay connected to the original Yellowstone. Now it seems the show's team may have found another way forward for the characters fans love. Though Deadline notes no final agreements are in place yet, still, it's an exciting prospect for the show's loyal audience. Initially, Paramount also had stated that Yellowstone would end with Season 5, followed by a new spin-off series potentially starring Matthew McConaughey. However, that series never took off as expected, and the network appears to have shifted its focus, with talks of bringing back some fan favorites for another series of Yellowstone. But without Costner, of course. It's likely that Season 6 would air alongside The Madison, which centers on a new family, the Clyburns, in the same universe as Yellowstone. In the meantime, creator Taylor Sheridan is also working on another prequel set in 1944. At this point, fans are questioning if Sheridan would be able to tie all the universes together. The prequels to Yellowstone have left many open loops in the plot, and, well, fans want some closure. So, in a way, Season 6 is pretty important. Of course, extending Yellowstone beyond Season 5B due to premiere date in November adds another twist to the ongoing clash between Sheridan and Costner. Initially, the plan was to end Yellowstone without Costner's character, wrapping up the Dutton family story later this year. But with this potential continuation, the actor's departure and contractual disagreements with Sheridan make things more complex. Though Costner has said he will not appear in these final Season 5 episodes, this season may no longer be the series finale. Ironically, Costner's contract had previously involved payment for Season 6 and 7, which the network effectively canceled by deciding to end the show after 5B. Yet now, that decision could be reversed. There was a time when Costner held all the cards. It seems like the actor knows that it would be a bit difficult for Sheridan to retain the audience when John Dutton is out of the picture. But at the same time, Costner also knew that Sheridan had all the power in the world to ruin his character arc. There was word from earlier this year, via Puck, that Costner's team had requested Sheridan allow him to finish his storyline. While Costner won't appear in Season 5B, the potential for a 6th season could buy Paramount time to negotiate a new agreement, whether to conclude his character's arc on screen or to keep him connected to the series. The feud still goes on, but depending on how Season 5B fares, Sheridan might have to put down his guns and ask Costner to remain attached to the show. Or if he really wants to walk away from the fire, the rumor has it that Sheridan will tank Yellowstone without giving fans the 6th season of the show. This is why the behind the scenes for the beloved show is nothing but chaos. What happens to John Dutton? Before we start to discuss John Dutton's fate, let's circle back to what we know about the show's plot from Season 5A. The next part is going to include some major spoilers, so you have been warned. When we last saw the Duttons, the family was on edge, with just about everyone ready to go after each other. In the mid-season finale, Jamie was seriously considering impeaching his own father to claim the governor's seat and finally get his revenge. But before Jamie could make a move, John and Beth kicked things up a notch themselves, turning their family feud dangerously physical. Beth even broke into Jamie's place, smashed his head with a rock, and warned him that she could end things whenever she wanted. With that, Jamie started thinking about murder too. So when Yellowstone comes back, this explosive conflict will likely reach new, bloody heights, especially for some of the main players. It seems like Season 5B's storyline is practically set up to kill off any character whose actor hasn't signed a new contract, and Costner's character, John, is a clear candidate. There's been no talk of Wes Bentley's return as Jamie, while Kelly Riley, Cole Hauser, and Luke Grimes, who plays Casey, are rumored to be in discussions to stick around. This means Beth, Rip, and Casey will likely make it through whatever chaos unfolds in Season 5B. But as for John Dutton's fate, it's still a mystery. Many believe he might die off-screen since Costner isn't expected to appear in the last episodes. While it might feel abrupt for fans, this unseen end could be the simplest way for the series to move forward without him. But of course, the internet has its fair share of theories about the fate of John Dutton. Plus, a behind-the-scenes conversation has also seeped into the entire drama. Fans have been buzzing with theories about how John Dutton might leave Yellowstone, and one of the most popular ideas has been a dramatic car crash. It seems like the kind of ending that would tie up his story perfectly, especially since the show's very first episode started with John surviving a crash where he was the only one to make it out alive. A second car crash would come full circle, adding a powerful parallel to his journey. But it looks like Taylor Sheridan has something else in mind for John's exit. No one knows exactly what those plans are yet, but it could be an off-screen death, or maybe even no death at all. The final episodes of Yellowstone will finally give us the answers about John Dutton and the fate of the Dutton Ranch, though it may not be in the way everyone expects. Sheridan has actually been pretty vocal about his feelings on the car crash theory, and it's personal. He once played a character named David Hale on Sons of Anarchy, who was unexpectedly killed off in a car accident. The experience left a mark on him. He said it felt like a fuck you moment for his character. In an interview earlier this year, he was adamant about not giving John Dutton the same treatment, saying, "I was killed in a fuck you car crash. I don't do fuck you car crashes." So while a car crash might sound like a poetic end for John, Sheridan's own experience suggests he'll find a different way to send off the Dutton patriarch. As we head into the final season of Yellowstone, John Dutton's fate remains a mystery. However, Taylor Sheridan has mentioned that John's absence was always part of the plan for the last few episodes. It's just going to unfold differently now. Given that he's been contemplating how to wrap up Kevin Costner's character for a while, Sheridan is clearly committed to handling it thoughtfully. He's made it clear that he won't send John off in a random car crash or any other offhand way that wouldn't do justice to the character. This approach gives fans hope that John Dutton's ending will receive the respect it truly deserves. For the most part, Costner and his team have been pushing for a graceful send-off for the family's patriarch. What has Costner said about his exit? It's been nearly a year since Kevin Costner announced his exit from Yellowstone, the popular Western drama he headlined for 5 seasons. Not long after his departure, the series revealed that it would conclude after the final episodes of its 5th season. While there was always a plan for Costner not to appear in those last episodes, that decision stemmed from Sheridan's specific storyline vision. However, after Costner's sudden exit, he kept quiet about his well-publicized feud with the show's creator. Now, after months of silence, Costner has finally spoken out while promoting his upcoming film, Horizon: An American Saga. But whether fans will be pleased with what he had to say is up for debate. When asked if he might appear in the series finale, Costner replied, "I'd like to be able to do it, but we haven't been able to." While that seems like a firm no regarding John Dutton's presence in the remaining episodes of Season 5, he did hint at a potential return to the Dutton universe. He reflected, "I thought I was going to make 7 seasons, but right now we're at 5, so how it works out, I hope it does, but they've got a lot of different shows going on. Maybe it will. Maybe this will circle back to me. If it does and I feel really comfortable with it, I'd love to do it." Regarding John's future and how his story might conclude, Costner shared, "Well, he needs to be proactive in what happens, and I've kind of had my own fantasy about how it might be. But that's Taylor's thing. I told him my thoughts a while back. I had ideas on how it could happen, but we just have to see." So while there may still be some hope for John Dutton's return, fans will have to wait and see how everything unfolds. However, given the nature of their feud, it is very unlikely that Sheridan would pay heed to Costner's conception of his character's exit.